very good day, friends. Welcome to this month's edition of the Shepherd's Voice. And we want to welcome to the program the host, the Bishop of Trenton, Bishop David M. O'Connell. Welcome, Bishop.
Thank you, Jim. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's well.
Well, we're in October. We made it to October, so I guess we're doing
know.
okay.
It's
right?
the beginning of the month, first Friday. Today's the feast of St. Francis of Assisi.
Yes.
Who was probably one of the most popular, after our Blessed Mother, the most popular.
Yeah, he's in the top 5, I think,
He's
right?
in the top 5, and when you ride around the neighborhood, you either see a statue of Mary, the Blessed Mother, or a statue of St.
Yeah,
Francis.
that's right.
And especially if they have a garden or
Yes.
flowers.
Yes.
You see St. Francis there.
And Assisi is such a beautiful little town when you go.
It is.
It's gorgeous. You can feel the presence of holiness. You just walk in and it just overwhelms you,
It's true, yeah. Last year, when I took the pilgrimage to Rome
Mm-hmm.
after Christmas, January, after New Year's, I had all these things set up for where the Eucharistic miracles occurred and all of this. And of course, I was going to do Assisi again, but I wasn't able to continue because I was there 2 days and then in the hospital for the rest of the trip. So.
Yeah.
But it's true, beautiful. And St. Francis, of course, has a beautiful story.
Yes.
Life, he was born in 1181, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And his father didn't know that his mother was pregnant. And he went away on a trip, business trip, came home, found out she had a child. And it was his child.
Yeah.
No question about that. But he had such plans and hopes for St. Francis growing up.
Yeah.
Wanted him to be a businessman like he did, because they were wealthy. So, but Francis had his own mind and developed a deeply spiritual life.
Mm-hmm.
And he never was a priest.
Mm-hmm.
He founded the Franciscan communities, and the different branches of the Franciscan family fight over which is the original one, which is the real Franciscans. I get a kick out of when I'm with them. We have 3 branches of Franciscans here in the Diocese of Trenton. We have the Order of Friars Minor at Long Beach Island. And St. Francis, that's a wonderful parish, and so much going on there. The food pantry, they have a children's program for children, runs all year long, and just so much going on there. And the Franciscans who are there are wonderful priests, good priests. One of them just died not too long ago, Father John Frambus. He was a great guy. He had a habit that he's had for years and years and years. And he would get up every morning, go down and watch the sunrise, jump in the water, no matter how cold it was.
Really?
He could jump in the water.
Wow.
And go back to the parish. And he went a couple of weeks, 3 weeks ago maybe. And the police saw the body in the water.
Oh, my.
He'd gone for his usual.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, good guy. And it was sad. I went down for the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the conventual Franciscans, the OFM-CONV, it's the initials. And they are in 2 places in the diocese. They're in Point Pleasant, actually, St. Peter's Parish. They have a school, a good school, and we really need to support that school. It's very important. And they have parish, St. Junipero Serra in Seaside. And that place I gave the order permission to make it a retirement home for.
Oh, okay.
Some people like to retire at the shore, and it provides them with a.
Right.
That was a big parish, and it merged, so they had room and space. And then let's see, we have Friars Minor, the conventual. Where else do we have Franciscans? I forget. I just sent them all greeting cards. I can't remember where the other group is, but They're here.
They're here.
They're
Okay,
here. We have
very
the
good.
Franciscans
Very good.
well represented
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So beautiful. It's a great feast day, and really October. There's so many wonderful feast days. Starting
true.
with Saint Therese on the 1st, and tomorrow's Faustina, and then we have the Holy Rosary on Monday. It just keeps going.
Yeah,
Saint Luke.
I'm taking a pilgrimage to Paris for the Holy Year. We're not going to Rome. Rome would be too crowded.
Rome is going to be crowded.
And I didn't have such luck in Rome last year, so I figured I'm going to stay away from it. Stay away from it. But as you know, I'm a Vincentian,
Right.
St. Vincent de Paul, and the order is founded in Paris. St. Vincent was a diocesan priest in Paris. And another one who had a conversion experience in his life. You know, he became a priest in order to get a benefice so he could have money to take care of his family. His family wasn't a poor family;
Right.
they were landowners.
Right.
So Saint Vincent kind of convinced his father to let him go off to a seminary school. His parish priest obviously was trying to get him into the priesthood. So he went off to the seminary, and interesting story. You know, he was a good man, but I would say not always a humble man. Certainly in his later life. But I remember reading once while in the seminary about how his father came to see him at the seminary, and St. Vincent was ashamed of him and didn't want to go down
Really?
to meet with his father. I'm sure he loved him, but I guess he couldn't compare his father to the fathers of some of the other seminarians who were wealthy.
Yeah.
But as I said, he wasn't poor, but he was ordained. He was ordained by a blind bishop. He had convinced a bishop to ordain him early. He was ordained when he was 23, which was not the canonical age for ordination. And he tricked the bishop into ordaining him. And ordained by himself, just one. Said his first Mass by himself. And then he got a benefice. He did a lot of work with the rich families, the De Gondi family in particular. And one day, one of the hired hands, the workers in this family's vineyards, came to him and said, "Could you hear a confession of one of the guys who was dying?" So St. Vincent went out and heard his confession and asked, "Are there more like you on the farm, on the land that they had?" And he told them hundreds, but didn't have access to a priest for confession.
Oh, wow.
So he went and heard the confessions, and then he tried to get some other priests to join him to do the confessions. And then he preached a sermon, and as he was preaching, his heart was changed, you know, and he decided that he was going to spend his life not looking for a benefice or anything like that, but serving the poor, especially the poor in the country. And those people that he gathered to help became the first Vincentians. But St. Vincent himself never became a Vincentian.
Oh, no?
He stayed a diocesan
Really?
priest.
Wow.
And just a great story. We're
Yeah.
talking about St. Vincent, the St. Francis feast day.
I know, but you
I'm
know,
stealing the thunder
that's
here.
you mentioned you're going to go to Paris for the Holy Year, but as you talked about St. Vincent and character flaws, you know, sometimes we think of these saints as having, you know, perfection their entire life, but they weren't.
No.
You know?
They're I say it always gives hopes to me to
Absolutely.
read the stories of these saints who were not saints their whole life.
Right, you know.
Became, and I think that's the point. You become a saint.
Right.
You're not born a saint.
Right, exactly. But even as they were living their lives and striving for holiness, they like all of us, we have many flaws. And
Yeah.
We make mistakes, and we fall, and we pick ourselves up
That's
again.
it. That's what we have to do. And the reason why I went off on that tangent, you see what kind of teacher I was.
Yes.
The kids would get me off on a tangent at the least little thing. I remember one kid once, Father, when I was teaching in high school, Father, The Blessed Mother wasn't a virgin all her life, was she? And of course, then off I go on this tangent.
Mhm.
And the kids knew that
Yeah.
I would go. They were something, you know.
Maybe there was an assignment due that they didn't want. A lot of them didn't have ready.
They didn't want to have to do whatever I was
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to teach them.
yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, the order, the Vincentian order, we have about 35 bishops, maybe
Mm-hmm.
one cardinal in Ethiopia, and then the other 34 bishops and
Mhm.
archbishops around. For the longest time, I was the only Vincentian bishop in the U.S.,
Mm-hmm.
and the last one before me was 100 years before,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the bishop of Salt Lake City. So the superior general of the Vincentians, he wanted to get all the Vincentian bishops together
Mm-hmm.
and come for the 400th anniversary of the foundation of what we call the Mother House,
Mhm.
Maison Mère.
Mhm.
Saint Lazare is the name of it. And so I thought, I said, I don't know that I really feel like going to a meeting. And I said, yeah, what's the point? You know, once you become a bishop, you're focused on the diocese,
Right.
not on the order.
Right.
So I said, all right, I'll go. And then the Superior General was here in the U.S. visiting down in our mother house in Philadelphia,
Mhm.
Germantown. Miraculous Medal Shrine, Basilica Shrine is there. And so he brought it up to me. He was really very eager that I come. So I said, well, let me think about it. And then he got a hold of my secretary, Father Jean
Mm-hmm.
Felicion. And he said, get him to come. Of course, John was eager to, he likes to travel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Bishop, I think it'd be very good if we went. And
Sure.
so I mentioned it to some of the priests.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, the Holy Year is coming, and Notre Dame is back in order. It's going to
Oh, it is?
It's
Okay.
going to open on December the 8th.
Oh, good.
Immaculate Feast of the Immaculate Conception.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the items on the agenda of the Vincentian gathering was to go to Notre Dame and
Mhm.
see the church, and
Yeah.
say Mass there. So I mentioned it to some of our priests, and they right away, can I go with you? The next thing I know, I had a bunch of guys who wanted to go along.
Uh-huh.
So I said, oh, well, yeah. I said, we can make it a pilgrimage.
Mm.
So we're going to go on pilgrimage the day after Easter.
Mm-hmm.
That's April 22nd.
Yeah, Easter's late this year. Right?
Yeah, Easter's
Yeah.
late. And we'll be there for 8 days.
Mm.
And I use we have Journey of Faith.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tourist
Yeah.
tourist
Mm-hmm.
business.
Mm-hmm.
And Carol Norbert, she works in the liturgy office in the diocese. I also had named her the head of pilgrimages, and then she was putting together all these pilgrimages, and she turned it into her own
A business.
But she only does religious
Uh-huh.
pilgrimages.
Yeah.
In fact, she's on pilgrimage right now for all of the Eucharistic
Mhm.
sites
Mm-hmm.
with Father Martin O'Reilly.
Oh, okay, good.
East Leaving
Yeah.
his pilgrimage.
Mm-hmm.
So she's over there now. So she's setting it all up for me. She does
Mhm.
a great job.
Yeah.
We set it up in such a way that we have visiting the cathedrals in France
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. So it looks like a good trip. We'll take 2 days where the priests can do whatever they want,
Mm-hmm.
travel around,
Yeah.
go to the Louvre, and
Mm-hmm.
go to Versailles if they want to make that. Then we'll go to St. Teresa of Lisieux. We'll
Mhm.
see her. We'll say Mass in her basilica. It should be a very, very nice occasion.
Yeah, good.
Hopefully I'll stay alive for the week without that.
Yeah.
So.
How was the convocation with the priests?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
We had about 130 or so, or more maybe, and we have 166 priests.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a pretty good
Good
turnout.
number, yeah.
And we have it down in actually in the Diocese of Camden. We have it at the Seaview Resort. You need a big hotel.
Yeah.
So we had it there. We had a priest from Washington, a Dominican priest, and he was terrific. His talks were great. He really had a lot, but he had an unusual gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
He would give his talk, and then he would pick up his guitar or go to the keyboard, and he'd sing a song that made the point that he was making.
Oh,
in
really?
Really was.
Yeah.
I didn't know how it would go over.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's unusual.
Right.
But he was well received,
Mm-hmm.
and the weather was perfect.
Yeah.
It's the one time of year when I can actually get into a swimming pool.
Okay.
So I bring my swim leg,
Yes,
as they call
uh-huh,
it, and in the afternoon, on Wednesday afternoon, in the middle of the week, I
Mm-hmm.
take a swim, and some of the guys, the guys will say to me, "Bishop, can I see you for a minute?" I said, "I'll be out in the pool. Put your bathing suit on." Oh, but it was great.
Good.
We had a very good time.
Good.
Guys are great. Someone had said to one of the priests that the morale of the priests is not good in
Mhm.
the Diocese of Trenton.
Hmm.
It's the first time I ever heard that
Yeah.
since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
And, you could tell that that's not true because just the way the guys talk to one another
Mhm.
and the volume in the dining room and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked them at the convocation, I give what I call the State of the Union.
Right.
So I go through everything and what they need to know and
Mhm.
what they might not hear. And it was great. And I asked them about that. I said, I heard this. I said, to be honest with you, I said, it actually hurt me to hear that because I put a priority on supporting the priests.
Sure.
And they all just, no way, no way. Who said that?
Yeah.
I said, well, the guy that said it wasn't there.
Oh.
Kind of funny stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of
Well, that's
funny stuff.
very good.
Yeah, it was good, a good time and a
Mhm.
good spiritually and every other way. It's
Mhm.
nice just for the guys to be together.
Right.
The
Right.
fraternity there is
Yeah.
probably just as important to me as anything
Yeah.
else. And one night we had Wednesday night is like just a good social night. We had karaoke.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned you were going to have karaoke. Good.
We had karaoke.
Uh-huh.
So I was wondering, how many of these guys will come in? Like 30 or 40 guys came in.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe how good voices some
Yeah,
of these guys.
yeah,
Really
yeah.
nice. There's a priest over in Jackson, in St. Monica's Parish, Father Alex Enriquez. He sounded like Frank Sinatra. And he was just did a great job.
Yeah.
And everybody had a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was kind of nice. So I think we'll keep that feature in
Yeah, sure.
future convocation.
Sure. Have some fun, right?
And then we have a spirituality day, we call
Mhm.
it, in Advent and in Lent. And the guys will come. I pick a parish,
Mm-hmm.
and then we go to that parish. We move it around to the
Right.
different parishes just so guys get a chance to see other churches.
Mhm.
And so this year it's going to be at St. Denis in Manasquan,
Mm-hmm.
where I have the other retirement home for the priests.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll get a chance to see that. And we have a spiritual talk and then a nice luncheon, and then we have confessors come in for the priests who want to go to confession.
Mhm.
It's funny, you don't realize it, but it gets away from you when you're the guy that's hearing the confession.
Right. Right.
And so I bring 3 or 4 confessors in,
Yeah.
and the priests get a chance to go to confession for those two seasons of the year, and they have a fabulous speaker this
Yeah.
year for me.
Oh, there you go. You can't get any better than that.
I usually every 3 years I take one of the either Lent or
Yeah.
Advent. It gives me a chance to
Uh-huh.
reflect with the guys.
Yeah.
That should be good.
Now, you got rave reviews on your homily at the New Jersey
I couldn't
Life Mass.
believe the response. To
Mm-hmm.
that. I'd never gotten such a.
Mm.
I mean, I'm talking hundreds
Mm-hmm.
of emails or texts or
Well, I heard.
letters and phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
It really was.
We had James King here was with us.
Oh
from
yeah,
the,
yeah.
the conference.
Bit of the conference.
Emily Italia and Jen Morrow. They do their program for us once a month. And they were raving, and so was he about your homily the day before at the cathedral.
Yeah, it was.
And they had a good turnout too.
I'll tell you something about when I have a public homily
Mhm.
like at a gathering. I usually rewrite it maybe 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the homily written. I had actually done it in advance.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the day was coming. And I went down for this priest's funeral, this
Mhm.
Franciscan priest.
Yeah.
And coming back through the pine lands, where there's nothing there,
Right.
the drive seems like forever. All of a sudden, I saw this billboard, and it had a picture of mother and the holding the
Mhm.
baby,
Mm-hmm.
newborn baby, and then it just said "duty to protect."
Mm.
So I rewrote the whole homily.
Oh,
based upon
okay. Based on that.
that billboard. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. It was good. Cardinal Tobin was the
Mhm.
celebrant. All the bishops came except for Bishop Cecchio, who was in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing the ordinations for North American College.
Mm-hmm.
This was the last group that he had been rector at North American
Mm-hmm.
College. So this was his last class.
Last class, yeah.
So he went over for the ordination. He sent his vicar general, which was very nice. We had good, maybe 66 priests.
Mm-hmm.
The cathedral, I've never seen it so
That's
full.
what I hear, yeah.
It was packed.
Yeah.
Upstairs, you've been there, so you know,
Yes.
the upstairs full,
Right.
and downstairs 500.
Mm-hmm.
And we had it the televised
Yeah.
the downstairs.
Yeah.
And it was just a wonderful day, a little rainy, and they marched afterwards. They did a rally to the State House. You know that with the Roe v. Wade, Roe v.
Wait.
Wade,
Mm-hmm.
Kind of passed the buck to the states.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in talking with some of my folks, I just said, we've got to work on the state.
Right.
Because it's the most permissive abortion
Right.
legislation in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided, all the bishops of New Jersey decided that we would have this Mass every year now. It's
Mhm.
going to be an
Mhm.
annual event. The New Jersey Right to Life, they don't advertise the Mass. So they just advertise the rally.
Oh.
But we have the Mass
Mhm.
beforehand. We advertise the rally, but they don't advertise us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good time, good session.
Good.
And the new bishop of Camden, the coadjutor,
Mm-hmm.
he came,
Mhm.
gave him a chance,
Mm-hmm.
and the bishop of Patterson. So I've never been here to this cathedral.
Really?
So give him a chance to see the cathedral.
Mm-hmm. Not Bishop Serratelli. He's retired, right?
Serratelli's retired
Mhm.
now. This is Sweeney, Kevin Sweeney,
Mm-hmm.
whom I had at St. John's when I was the dean there, and he was one
Oh.
of the students.
Wow.
So yeah, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good to get the bishops together. And Jim King, who is the director of the
New Jersey.
executive director of
Yeah.
the conference, he does a great job.
Yeah.
So I think he has a webinar coming up.
On the 9th of this month, in fact, we've been promoting it.
Are you doing it? Are you? You're not.
We're not doing it, no.
Yeah.
But we were letting people know. That's why he was here with Emily and Jen to talk about that and help promote that webinar.
Yeah.
On the 9th.
Emily, her husband is a deacon.
He's my godson, my nephew.
Really?
Hmm.
I didn't know that.
Deacon John is my nephew. He's my godson.
Hey. He's a good man.
Yeah,
just
he's always been good.
I saw him last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Father Chris Dayton was installed as
Mm-hmm.
pastor,
Yes.
and he's in that parish.
Yep,
also.
yep.
So we had a nice visit. And Emily, she does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And Jen used to work.
I know.
Used to work with him.
Yeah.
Now she's in Camden. She,
Yep.
it took her so long to get here to Trenton, so
Mm-hmm.
it was better for her to move
Yeah.
and stay where she was closer to home. But I saw her at the welcome mass for the new bishop,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw her parish.
Mm-hmm.
Her home parish is LBI,
Yes.
Franciscan parish.
Mhm.
there,
Mm-hmm.
so-
Yeah, they do a great job. They come once a month, Emily, and they kind of combine what's happening in our diocese here and what's happening in Camden, and they have guests. Wonderful job. Just,
Yeah, you people in Camden have the access to it.
Yeah, sure. We have the Cape May station in Hamilton, so they get us down there.
Yeah, they have you down there.
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
I run into people every once in a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. So
and Say that. So.
yeah, it's
But we have a couple things. Maybe I could just mention
Sure,
some
please.
of them. Just
mm-hmm.
during this month. You know, the fall is always really busy for the bishop. You know,
Yeah.
it's just so much going on. Everyone tries to, you know, like during the summer, those 3 months or so,
Mm-hmm.
not a whole lot's going on, and they try to get everything
Mm-hmm.
in as soon as they can, including confirmations. You know, I have about 35 confirmations. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. We have 97 parishes. Not every parish does confirmation every year.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, if the numbers are smaller, they might
Yeah.
wait 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
3 years to do the confirmation. But tomorrow, Saturday, I have the Mass for the Alternate Rosary, the Regional Alternate
Mhm.
Rosary Society. That's going to be out at St. Gregory the Great in Hamilton, 10 o'clock Mass tomorrow. And Sunday, I have the Red Mass,
Yes. That's
for
Father
the legal
John.
profession, and that's going to be 10 o'clock on Sunday.
It's St. Michael's.
At St. Michael's, West End, John Butler, Father John Butler.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 o'clock is the wedding anniversary. That'll be at the Co-Cathedral.
You're doing 2 of those this year, right?
We
Two-
do 2 every year.
Oh, you do every. Oh, I didn't realize.
Oh,
that.
we
Okay.
do. We do. Co-Cathedral is Ocean and Monmouth,
Oh, okay.
and so the anniversary couples will come to the
Mhm.
Co-Cathedral. That's packed. That's
Mhm.
always it's a very popular event.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's billed for 1 year anniversary, 25-year
Mhm.
anniversary, 50 years, and this year we have several 65-year
Wow.
anniversaries
Mm.
to celebrate. So it's nice. It's a mass. It used to be just a ceremony or,
Yeah.
you know, some Bible vigil or something like that on
Mhm.
Sunday. And I said, you know, this is crazy that people, you have them going to Mass twice on the same day. I said,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
they love the Lord, but I don't know on a Sunday if they want to spend it in the whole day in church.
Right. Right.
So I said, make it a Mass, and they can fulfill their
You do the Mass of the day.
obligations. So we do the Mass for Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great occasion. But
Yeah.
there's 2. And
Right. Right.
then on the 27th is Mercer County
And Burlington.
Burlington.
Yeah.
That doesn't draw as many. It just draws a good number, but not as
Mhm.
many as the
Mm-hmm.
Ocean and Monmouth.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful occasion to lift up the sacrament of marriage.
Oh, sure.
Talk about it.
In fact, my Deacon John and Emily, they'll be at the cathedral here. They're celebrating their 25th this year.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
so. Boy, I wouldn't know that. They both look so young.
I know they look young to me. I've
To me too. Yeah. And then we have the Catholic Schools Mass,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be at the Co-Cathedral on October the 10th. It's the
Mhm.
10th this year, and that's a mass that is 10:30, and we bring the school representatives of all the schools, Catholic schools in the diocese, and that's full. That is full, but it's going to be televised,
Mm-hmm.
so people can.
And you do that in October because January
Yeah, you
always
know, we
didn't
used
work
to-
out with the weather and things.
You know, when I started this,
Mm-hmm.
I started it on either St. Patrick's Day or St. Joseph's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, those are good feast days
Mhm.
and celebrated. And then we had a couple years where we had snowstorms.
Right.
So then we decided, well, Joanne Tier, who was the superintendent,
Mhm.
said, why don't we try it in the fall?
Mm.
And so we usually have it in October.
Yeah.
You know, I dedicated the diocese to Blessed Carlo Acutis.
Mm-hmm.
For the young people. And so we actually had the Mass on the first feast day of Carlo Acutis.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really nice. They do a great job. The Catholic Schools office works hard. My brother, who is the assistant superintendent or associate superintendent, that's his project. So
Mm-hmm.
he does a great job. He's so organized.
Mm.
I said he got that gene. And then I'll be going to starting my parish visits. I'll go up to Our Lady of Fatima in Keyport for the
Mhm.
Feast of Our Lady of Fatima,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll be a bilingual Spanish-English mass. Then I was supposed to go down to Catholic U.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to have the 10th anniversary of the naming of the building after me down there, the
Mm-hmm.
central business offices, administration, and financial aid. And then they called me and said, Bishop, we don't mean to hurt your feelings, but we have so many things going on. Would you mind if we pushed it to the spring? I said, I wouldn't mind it if you canceled it altogether. I said, I really don't need a celebration of my building. They said, oh, no, we want to do it. We want to do it. And it's been 25 years since I've been at Catholic U.
Yeah.
That's a long time. And
So
then
you,
we have
you didn't come right from the university to bishop?
Yeah, I did actually.
Oh.
I was 12 years as president, and I remember the day. It was October the 2nd. We had a board meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and I had no intention of retiring. And as I walked over to the building where the meetings were held, I said to myself, I think I've run out of tricks. I think I better hand this off to somebody else. So, and I had no intention at all. Well, of course, you never do, or most people don't anyway, of being a bishop. You know, that was
Right.
not in the cards as far as I was concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I heard people talk about it, but I paid no attention to it. And I announced it at the board on October the 2nd, and then the year went on, and then on May 24th, the phone rang, and I picked it up, and the rest is history, you know. Nuncio, where are you? Get over here. Of course, I lived in Washington, so I could scoot over there.
Yeah.
He had, I don't know whether I've told this story, you know, Sambi, Archbishop Sambi, was a great man, funny as can be. And I enjoyed his company, and we would go out every once in a while, go for dinner or something. And he called me in, and so I went in, and honestly, I thought what he was going to do is what he did frequently, ask me to give a scholarship to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there, but they didn't have me sit in the usual room where guests sit. They had me in another parlor, smaller parlor. And then the secretary came in and said, the Archbishop will see you in his room. I said, oh, that's unusual, but I guess I'd never been in his room.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat down. He started telling jokes. He's a great guy, clown around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he started telling jokes, and I was thinking, I said, is this what he called me over, or just try his new material out on me?
Right.
You know?
A new act.
A new act, yeah. And he just slammed his hand on his desk, and he said, well, the Holy Father wants you to be the Bishop of Trenton, and he's not asking. So write the letters accepting and give it to me tomorrow. So what do you say to that?
Right.
Then I went into the dining room for lunch because it was lunch meeting. Let's eat. So we went in. And it's a very formal dining room in the nunciature. People don't get a chance to see it. But a long table, and all the staff sit around the table. The nuncio sits in the middle, and his guest sits opposite him. So I got in there, and with the knowledge that I was going to be a bishop, and knowing that everyone around the table knew it, but I couldn't speak about it.
Right.
And the nuncio told me, he says, you can tell no one. So I didn't. But I thought, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to get that sabbatical, I was honest. So, and on June 6th was the day they announced it. You can't say anything until it appears in the papal documents, the Vatican documents. And so, sure enough, there it was. But I found out later that there was a whole cluster of cardinals and bishops that were pushing for me to become bishop. In fact, all of the cardinals in the U.S. wrote to the Pope.
Really?
And said, we are recommending putting him in as bishop.
Wow.
And so that was kind of, I felt very proud of that fact. They thought so much of me.
Sure. And you could have gone anywhere in the country, right? I mean,
I was on two, what they call ternas. Those are the list of names that are sent to Rome. And the Pope picks from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on another Terna and the Terna for Trenton.
Mm-hmm.
And they chose, if you don't believe this, believe it or not, Pope Benedict chose Trenton for me
Mm-hmm.
because of my mother. He knew she was sick.
Oh,
And
and
he knew
she's
that
over
she
here in
lived right across the
Pennsylvania.
bridge
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And that's why.
Well, that was considerate.
That was beautiful. I thought that was such a beautiful thing.
Sure.
And I had known him, over the years.
Right, right,
As a cardinal,
right.
So it was great, great.
Because the bishop, as you mentioned, the new bishop of Camden, he's from Minnesota. So
Yeah, I know. I was actually surprised by that. I thought they would pick more local.
really,
Yeah, we have, by canon law, the bishops of a province. The province here is
Mhm.
the Newark province. It's all the
Mhm.
bishops of New Jersey. And we meet periodically. By periodically, I mean every couple of years.
mm-hmm.
And we send in names. We pick
Mhm.
names out of people who we think would be good bishops.
Mm-hmm.
Each bishop of a diocese suggests, a couple names, usually 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk about them. If we know the candidates, then we can say either, send that in or don't send that one in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happens. And they send the names off to the nuncio. Then the nuncio does a survey among people that would know you.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was pretty well known at the
Mhm.
time for having been in the national spotlight at Catholic U, and that's how it happens. And my name was on 2 different ternas,
Yeah.
and I got this one.
And we're very blessed.
Yeah, I was
That you
very
got-
happy to get it because I went to school in
Sure, right across the
Princeton,
river. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Pendale, Our Lady of Grace was your home
my
parish.
home parish, and that's 20 minutes away. My
Right.
mother's house was 20. I
Mhm.
could actually leave the chancery, go to my mother's house for lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and be with her for a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when she was in better shape, she loved Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Chinese restaurant.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'd pick her up at the Chinese restaurant. And so it was a nice thing. Then she got my brother was taking care of her in the family
Mhm.
home.
Yeah.
And then it got too much. He was teaching school, riding.
Right,
He was
right.
teaching school down in Philly.
Yeah.
So it got too much. So I said, "Oh, really? You've been taking care of both our parents for so long. Bring her up here." We went to St. Lawrence,
Mm-hmm.
and she was there in the nursing home there,
Mm-hmm.
and she died there. Actually,
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But it was a good thing because, as those listeners maybe who've had to taken care of their parents, and that's more and more happening.
Yes.
See that.
I was reading on the air that past couple of weeks that beautiful letter that Pope John Paul II wrote in 1999, letter to the elderly.
Oh yeah.
It's a beautiful, and I didn't
It is.
when it came out in '99. I was only 40-some years old, so it did. But I can really relate to it now. The
Yeah,
things he
yeah.
says and the beautiful way he expresses the dignity of the elderly person and how
Yeah.
much they have to offer.
It's true, and Pope Francis hits on that theme
Yes.
a lot
Yes.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he's 87,
Yes.
so he's not a young man, and now at this point, he's always in a wheelchair.
Yes.
He can get up and greet people, but
Mhm.
he's pretty much always in
Yeah.
a wheelchair. And when I went to Italy last year,
Mm-hmm.
this January, I went to see him in
Mhm.
the morning, and he was so pleasant and so cheerful.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good visit,
Mm.
and then I left the palace there and went for lunch, and then I had a heart attack right after lunch. People said, "What did he say to you?"
Yeah, exactly.
I said, "Oh, he was very
Did you have
nice."
to walk up all those stairs to get up to the
Yeah.
bronze doors there? I remember I went there. And is there
You
an
know-
elevator in that place?
No, I don't think so.
Those stairs all the way.
I know, and
almost-
there's strange.
yeah.
The stairs are not the usual
No.
height of the stairs.
No.
So did I go up there? No. You know what? I had about 30 priests
Mm-hmm.
with me. So I got the tickets ahead of time.
Oh, okay.
When you're a bishop, you
Yeah,
have a little
yeah,
more.
yeah, yeah.
You can get things a little bit
Yeah.
easier over there
Uh-huh.
in Rome.
Uh-huh.
So it was very, very nice. And then before I came home, I went back to see
Mm-hmm.
him again. And I took all my priests that were there with me.
Mm-hmm.
And the Pope was he called them up from the audience,
Mm.
put them all on the stage,
Oh, good.
and greeted them all,
Mhm.
had pictures taken. So cheerful. And
Yeah.
as they were wheeling him over in the wheelchair, of course, he recognized me from the week before. The Pope lifted his hands up, Trenton, Trenton, Trenton. And it was a great, great opportunity.
Yes.
So we have the Mount Carmel Gala coming
Mhm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mount Carmel Guild does such a great job for the poor, for the elderly,
Mhm.
for the sick in our area. So we have and they're honoring some wonderful people at that gala. And that'll be October the 18th,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in the evening. Deacons have their convocation coming up at
Mhm.
the end of the month. And then I'll be at St. Hedwig's in Trenton
Mhm.
for their 100th anniversary of the parish.
Mm.
Maybe it's the 100th anniversary of the church and 120 of the parish.
Mm-hmm.
It's one or the other, I forget
Right.
now.
Right.
So we'll go to that, and I'll celebrate the Mass there for that. And then we'll finish up the month with the anniversary blessings for the second half
Mm-hmm.
of the diocese. So it's a busy time.
Busy time.
This coming week, October 7th, the Holy Father has asked the Catholics throughout the world to pray and fast
Yeah.
for the peace.
October 7th, I think.
October 7th.
Global World Day of
Yeah,
Prayer and Fasting. Yeah.
prayer and fasting. So that will be good. And I wrote a prayer for the diocese, and I sent it out to the priests and pastors the other day
Mm-hmm.
and asked them to make sure this weekend. The Pope never gives you much time to prepare.
Right.
And true to form, he just announced this the other day, and then you don't have time to get anything ready in your
Yeah.
parish.
Yeah.
So I sent something out to the priest and asked him, I announced it this weekend, the only chance you're going to get.
Yeah.
And then we put it in the monitor, the
Mhm.
prayer, and the notice.
Yeah.
And that. We have the Holy Year coming,
Mm-hmm.
and we've started our preparations. I put a committee together
Mhm.
to plan the Holy Year and the different events that we're going to have throughout the year. And then the parishes, I encourage them to develop some things for the
Mhm.
parishes that do whatever you think would be good.
Holy Door on the cathedral is going to open.
No.
They're not doing that.
They said no.
Really?
You remember a couple of years ago, it was the Year of Faith, was it, or the Year of Mercy?
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those years.
Mhm.
And we had Holy Doors designated
Right.
in several parishes through the
Right.
diocese, and of course the cathedral and the co-cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
But we were told no. The only place they want it done is in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the next week they had other places picked out in the
Mhm.
world for the Holy Door,
Mhm.
including a prison and all of this.
Really?
So we're not going to do that, but we will have. The Pope has asked every bishop to say Mass on the 28th of December.
Mm-hmm.
The Holy Year begins obviously January 1st. To have Mass at his cathedral
Mhm.
or at his co-cathedral. So since we
To
have
open the year at that point.
to begin the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say the Saturday Mass,
Mhm.
December 28th, at
The Holy Innocents.
at the cathedral, and then the 29th, next day I'll say it at the co-cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
And as I say, we have tons of things that are planned,
Mm-hmm.
and that I'll probably send something out in November. A manual with all
Mhm.
the things on it, and the prayer and all of it.
Mhm.
And that. So that should be a nice occasion, and beautiful occasion.
And there are indulgences attached to.
indulgences attached to
These,
the different
yeah.
things. And what I, and of course, I'm always trying to get things done in the best way I can, and
Hmm.
so we won't have holy doors, but what we're going to have is jubilee churches.
Ah.
So I'll go to a different church throughout the year
Hmm.
and visit, and that should be very nice. And we'll have like the Blue Mass. We always have that every year,
Yes.
but this year it'll be the Holy Year Blue Mass.
Oh, okay.
Catholic schools, Holy Year Catholic Schools Mass, and
All right.
all of that. So
Mhm.
they cover the groups because they gave a very extensive list of things they wanted you to do during the whole.
Really?
Yeah. So I put that committee together right away, and they're finished their work.
The Pilgrims of Hope, I think, is the theme, right?
Pilgrims of Hope. Yeah, that's the. If you read "Spes non confudet," hope does not disappoint, which is the Pope's what they call a bull of indiction,
Hmm.
announcing the Holy Year. That theme goes throughout.
Mhm.
I'll publish his letter closer to the time of the Holy
Mhm.
Year, so people can read it all. People really they like the Monitor, and they like both the magazine
Yes.
as well as the
Online.
online, because you get the daily news
Yeah.
online for the Catholic.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's great. I mentioned earlier the October 7th. Archbishop Broglio, who's the president of the Bishops' Conference of the United States, he wrote a beautiful letter, and it's online. You can read it. It's on the bishop's website,
Hmm.
usccb.org, and read his letter. And very, very impassioned letter for peace,
Mm.
and especially in light of the tragedy last year, that Hamas attack.
Hmm.
And but he says it in very nice ways. That it's not only the Jews that have died, but Muslims have died also,
Right.
and inviting us to pray for everybody who's affected by this, which is
Hmm.
something. Let's see, what else do I have?
Any word on the Synod on Synodality that's taking place in Rome now?
Is there a synod? No.
You hear, you go on, these days you go online, you get all kinds of reports and people, who are giving mixed messages.
Some
and,
like it,
yeah,
some don't.
what to
Some,
expect. And
what I've read recently is the people are talking about all the hot button issues and
Yes.
the fact that the synod, this second session, is not dealing with them.
Mhm.
What the Pope did last year at the end of the synod was designate 10 groups, study groups,
Mhm.
and they were to take up these questions like, you read this all the time about women being deacons
right,
and
right.
women being ordained and
Mhm.
the so-called LGBTQ issues
Yes.
and all of that stuff. So, but this year they chose not to deal with all those hot button issues, but rather to talk about the notion of synodality and what it means,
Mhm.
and how important it is to listen and dialogue, and also
Mhm.
you see dribs and drabs. Some people don't have much hope or confidence in it, and other people think it's
Right.
it's the bee's knees. It's going to
Mhm.
be everything the church needs and
Yeah.
wants. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We have a couple of American bishops who are serving on the Synod committee.
Mhm.
Cardinal Tobin, of course, the cardinals go because they're cardinals,
Mhm.
and Cardinal Tobin is there, and we have another bishop, Bishop Daniel Flores from Brownsville, Texas,
Mhm.
and he's on the bishops' conference. He's the chairman of the doctrine committee,
Mhm.
so it made sense for him to be there, and a few others. I forget who else is there. Dolan, I saw his picture the other day. Father
Mhm.
Dolan. So it should be. It's a month. I can't imagine being in Rome for a month in meetings all day long.
Yeah. That's the catch. Being in Rome for a month, I wouldn't mind. But
Yeah.
meetings all day long.
Meetings all day
different
long. Would
story.
be, oy, oy,
Yeah.
oy.
Yeah.
But hopefully something good will come of it. We pray for that.
Yeah.
Hope for the best.
Hmm.
What else? What else is going on? What else do I need to say?
Well, we're coming up to, I just mentioned this month is so busy, and before you know it, we'll be hitting Advent. But let's just, before we end, we mentioned the Holy Year. it's an official jubilee year. These happen
It's
once every 25 years.
Once every 25 years. The last Jubilee we had was an extraordinary Jubilee.
Mm-hmm.
It was not 25 years since the one before it, so this one is 25 years since the ordinary Jubilee, not
Mhm.
the extraordinary Jubilee. They say Rome is going to be a mess.
Yeah, I know. And they've been putting a lot of money into upgrading things and
I
fixing
know
things
it.
up. And
And they were
cleaning it up.
already starting to do that last year.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
So
And a lot of pilgrimages. I've seen from even within the diocese.
oh yeah,
I got a couple of flyers from
yeah,
some of the
yeah.
parishes.
We've got that going on, and that's why I say during the Holy Year, really, I want to give the priests who are interested a chance to go to Notre Dame
Mm-hmm.
and see it. As it's,
Yeah.
this is the month of the Rosary,
Yes.
so I just want to just put the word out there to encourage people to say the Rosary
Mm.
every day. It's after the Mass, it's the most beautiful prayer. I forget who said this, but it's holding the Blessed Mother's hand
Mm.
and looking at the life of Christ,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really a great way to
Yeah.
to look at it. And then just coincidentally, Respect Life Month,
Yes.
and that's very much on our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And then a month from now, the country will be all over the place with this election that's coming up. It's funny. The bishops' conference agreed on a text that we could videotape
Mm-hmm.
and then send out to our dioceses.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, like usual, I jumped right at get it
Yeah,
done.
right.
And it was a good thing. But I say in it, the church doesn't tell you who to vote for.
Right.
I got mail, hate mail,
Mm.
for saying that.
Yeah.
The church doesn't do that.
No.
It's not what we do.
No.
And, obviously, you could tell from the way that people wrote. Most of them are anonymous,
You're right.
that they're looking at one candidate
Sure.
and one of the two, and some letters favor one, some letters favor the other. But I just thought, Jesus, isn't this crazy? And I did a video on civility,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually got hate mail about that. Is this the most important thing in the world?
Mm.
And I said, well, it is kind of
Yeah.
civility. We don't live in a world where civility reigns.
Right.
And then I did another video on the Respect Life. I'm doing a lot of these videos because it's people don't read, but they'll
Mhm.
watch it.
Right.
And usually, my videos, like my homilies, are short.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because we calculate how many minutes that people watch.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have 100 or 150
Right.
people that look at it, and the video may be 6 minutes,
Right.
and they'll watch it for 4 minutes.
Right.
And we can chart that
Sure.
to know what the most watched videos or commented on social media,
Mm.
anything to do with the priest.
Really.
Yeah, you when we have an ordination or an
Mhm.
installation of a pastor
Yeah.
or something else that involves priests,
Yeah.
those get the most hits.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
people like to read about
interesting.
priests.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
But the Respect Life, such an important issue, and as I spoke at the Mass, I said it's the preeminent issue. The bishops say it's not the only issue, but it's the preeminent issue.
Mm.
I get letters from people all the time. Nobody preaches about abortion.
Yeah.
I said, how many times do I give a homily about this, or talk about this, or
Mhm.
write about this?
Mhm.
Obviously they don't read
Right.
or check the monitor or check anything
Right.
where there's coverage. But
Yeah.
it's
Well, if you're living where we live in Pennsylvania, a lot of the political ads now are the candidates who are pro-abortion, and they just continually, almost every commercial is how horrible their opponent is for being pro-life, and they want to put restrictions on women's. It's a major issue politically. I mean, and it's
become that.
yeah.
It's become that for one party,
Mm-hmm.
less so for the other party.
That's right.
The other party maybe talks more about
Economy, immigration, I mean, things that are,
things that touch
I mean, it's but it's very disheartening to see
is.
so many people who are just so hardcore pro-abortion, and
Yeah.
It's a shame.
It
Obviously.
doesn't make any sense to
No.
me at all.
No.
These are the most vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's hard to make sense of everything, but
Well, Bishop, we're getting close to the end here, so we're going to have to check out. But thank you for all you do, for being here.
Yeah.
And then now next month, first Friday is All Saints Day, so we'll have to work on when we're going to.
I'm not sure if where I have. I usually have mass.
Yeah, I mean it'll be a busy
on the
day, so
holidays.
yeah,
and All Souls. as well.
yeah. But we'll talk.
We'll get a chance.
But great having you. Thanks for all you do, and
great, my
we'll
pleasure.
talk to you next time.
We will see everybody. God bless you.